Hello, millions. This is the Civ Battle Royale X, the Cbrix Power Ranking podcast for part 3. Thank you for listening. If you've listened to our past 3 podcasts, because we did a part 0 one as well, thank you for keeping with us. I'm Lax Riskel. I narrated part 2, and today we have a beautiful array of power anchors. Would you all like to introduce yourselves?
I wouldn't necessarily call myself beautiful.
I second that motion.
Third in it.
My name is JM Angelo 67. I'm sorry, I'm currently eating Pizza Hut. I'm JM Angelo 67. I am the head power ranker. I'm the one who formed the team back in early 2016.
I think you can just short intros, J-Man. We had the full one.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. But yeah, half of us are sick today, but we still wanted to come and do our jobs. So
we're powering on. I mean, I'm fine.
Yeah, we're power ranking on.
Oh God.
That's
the kind of quality you expect, guys, going forward.
Our viewers have just gone back down to 6.
Ooh, woo, what this?
that was entirely on you.
Yeah, I'm Lordy. You know who I am. I made the new Selknam Civ Ball, and I put it on the slide myself, so if someone's taking it off, I hate. I'm also sick.
I'm Emser Day. I was out for a couple of days, but now I'm back.
Hello. Welcome back.
And I'm Scissor, and I'm just putting up the finishing touches on all the slides, and then going to be uploading them pretty much while this is recording.
Yes, yeah. So for the second week running, the power rankings aren't actually out yet. So exact rankings.
Hopefully, the things we've done this week should make it easier for the rankings to come out next week. So hopefully, they'll be out earlier.
We've automated the process, but it took a while to set up. That's why we're kind of dragging our heels a little bit this week, as well as the fact that half of us are ill, which is fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, we had 2 people working on it until 11 tonight, when it went back up to 6 or 7 people working on it. So yeah. You want to go on to the agenda then?
Yes, we were going to run through, as we did last week, starting with North America. If J-Man wants to find a relevant image, because we're going to start with the Apache.
The Apache, okay.
Apache, my friend.
Jump on it.
Because they had presumably, or rather, I think the most interesting role in North America this week. They declared war on Poverty Point, but nothing really came of it, and now it looks like they're kind of moving north instead. Looks like they've kind of reprioritized. So I think what I want to ask is, firstly, that Poverty Point war, was that a waste? Was that only ever going nowhere? Or do you think that was a huge missed opportunity for the Apache not to really pounce on that?
Personally, I don't necessarily think it was a missed opportunity, because it's what they should do. They should have gone for their neighbors, but I think they were too late, in the sense that Poverty Point actually militarized before they did, so they didn't have a chance to declare war. The best chance would be if Poverty Point declared war on Iroquois or something and expanded their military. But as it was, they just sort of slammed units into each other for a couple of 10 turns. Yeah, so it was going to be a stalemate, I think, but it was Apache's only real move. I don't necessarily think they would have had the mobility until just now to go up after Métis or south after Aztecs. So I think it's more a Poverty Point playing well than Apache playing badly.
Oh, interesting. So are you favouring Poverty Point in the region?
I think, I still have a lot of faith in Métis, and as we've already discussed, I have no faith in New Peak, because that's what, if I start believing in New Peak, that's when they'll die. But I think at this point I'll still give it to Métis, because it's still early game, and big empires are better than small, tall empires in the early game. Or at least as it goes forward.
I see what you mean. I think that Apache do need settlers fast. I think they've sort of prioritized military, but also kind of half-assed it. If that like they could have a huge horde, like the Goths, or pick somebody else. Pick somebody else with a huge army. The Golden Horde.
Yes.
But as it is, they've kind of got a fine army. Like it's the military score is good, but given that they've only produced one new city, 1/3 city, thus far, I think it's kind of bad showing. I kind of want them to have a huge kind of sweeping cavalry by this point. I mean, not cavalry, but a huge sweeping force that could really kind of wreck somebody up. That's kind of what I envisioned the Apache being in the early game, and we're not really seeing that.
It's why.
Well, that was my biggest concern. Was that with the Apache, the reason why I always rank them consistently in the middle tier is because it's actually a real flip of the coin. They'll either build a huge military and start gobbling up all their neighbors, or they build a huge military and they turtle up, and then they just sit there and become useless. And of course their tech score is super low, hence why we haven't seen any spearmen from the Apache, yet many of their neighbors are already starting to get spearmen and some boats.
Yeah, both the Apache and Poverty Point haven't really settled any of the coasts.
Yeah, that's interesting. That Jaketown is like Jaketown, which is the Poverty Point city. It's just like a tile away from the coast, and the Apaches, I think it's a Lepine Day.
No, it's Socana Day. It is also one tile away from the coast.
Yeah, it's also one tile away from the coast. Like,
yeah,
it's almost like they're really scared of Haiti. They're really the coastal cities.
I mean, to be fair, Haiti's going after Venezuela.
Well,
and they're succeeding.
Yeah, Toussaint Louverture is a pure shark. He just smells the blood in the water.
Hit good old Haiti in good time.
Interesting to note, though, Haida do have one of their war canoes in the Gulf of California.
Yes, I saw that. So they generally, once a Civ hits its unique unit, it starts to mass produce them. So look out for that next part. I think I'd say if they don't, then it's worrying.
Haiti are probably going to get all the way round near Selknam at this rate. Do they get bonuses from exploring, or is there another Civ that I'm thinking of?
I don't think that's not Haiti. I don't think so.
Because there definitely is one with the trireme UU that gets a bonus for discovering.
I think that's Haida, but it could also be Sulu.
That's what I meant with Haida. Sorry, not Haiti. Haida's walking.
Oh, you said Haiti. Haida, yes. I think it's Haida.
Yeah, so they'll just be sending those off to Gold Knights.
Back on the Apache, though, they've not actually declared war on the Métis yet, but we're quite bullish in suggesting that they will do, as they have sent an army.
This is classic AI war declaration in Double It's where in your single player games you just sort of see a couple of units appear at the edge of your sight lines, and just you get declared war.
Yeah, it's a classic thing. I think anyone who's played Civ against the AI would recognise. Aaron says the Apache have researched trapping, masonry, and calendar, and are currently researching writing. It seems they want to improve their resources foremost. But as well as that, writing and calendar in particular, very kind of sciencey text. So it looks like they're going for a kind of high research route, which isn't necessarily
the route. Which is very unlike them. It's very unlike them.
Also, top half, I believe the top half texts are slightly more expensive in the second row than the bottom ones.
Sorry, say that again.
I think the especially sailing is more expensive than the text around it.
Oh, this is deep Civ knowledge. This is forbidden Civ lore.
It might mean that it takes longer to research, basically.
I guess. So what do we think? If and it's a big if Apache declare war on the Métis, what are our predictions?
Right now, as it stands, as you were saying, like the one we've been hyping up in the Discord is the fact that Métis do not have roads. I mean, yeah, so they can't get the units around their empire fast enough. So if they do get declared war on, they won't be able to reinforce the southern cities, which is also something that happened to Algeria. They couldn't move units to Constantine and Tlemcen. So yeah, I think they could easily come away with 1 or 2 cities. The exception
is it Tlemcen?
Tlemcen.
No. It's not Tlemcen. It's Tlemcen. You have
Tlemcen.
You got to switch it very quickly.
Tlemcen.
I don't have the tongue dexterity for.
Imagine the word phlegm, but instead of a ph, it's
Phlegm.
a t.
Yeah, okay. That's not too bad.
It just sounds like I'm choking. I'll just call it that one. The
Welcome
T
to what Arabic is exactly as a language.
Yeah,
Guys,
I'm a Germanic boy. But yeah.
Other than that, I don't think there's too much to say about North America. I mean, we're glad that the Aztecs got a 4th city out.
I think there's one quite big thing, which is what I want to move on to now.
Is it the war?
The big WTF moment off the map.
Yeah, the first of the 2 weird save bugs that we got when switching computers and tech.
Yes. Well, we think that's what it is. We think. The second one doesn't really matter, fortunately. This one is somewhat more different, and that is, of course, the Iroquois. The Iroquois received an ideology somehow. An ideology.
Yeah. So me and Rion were looking at
who don't play Civ, but an ideology is like a special policy tree that you can only unlock once you've either built 3 factories or reached the modern era, or
yes, it's a late game
the
thing.
Iroquois, apparently.
Yeah, so me and Rion looked through the code and the Lua, and basically because we haven't got the community patch on, there's no function just to switch a policy. So Chrissy's code uses a dummy policy, and we think what's happened is somehow it's it's booted wrong, or like the game's loaded badly, and it's only done half of the function and just given them a random free policy and tried to set it to the dummy policy, which they already had, but we actually have no idea what's gone on really. It's
Chris,
not
fix your civilization.
It's not been reproducible at all, this bug in tests. So yeah.
It's very out of nowhere, but do we really think it's going to help the Iroquois in the long run?
Well, here's the thing. When we didn't know what ideology was, it was very interesting because if they pick freedom, for example, they could adopt a policy, a tenet, which gives them 6 free units. Now, a Foreign Legion unit is okay when you unlock it in the modern era. It's a kind of infantry. Having that in the classical era,
it would one-shot cities. Yeah,
a little strong. Yeah, that would be a one-shot city kind of thing. So we were kind of worried about that. There's some really good order ones as well, but they picked autocracy. Now, what's interesting is autocracy is a great one to go for domination, but a lot of its bonuses only really affect things in the modern era. For example, increased bonuses to armor units like tanks,
and it gives you I believe autocracy also gives you a happiness thing from the money buildings, or there's something like that. It gives you happiness from a building that they don't have enough of yet.
Yeah, I mean, also that one matter at all,
but yeah, deity. But yeah, the bonuses are for. I mean, I think it was Andy that said autocracies for a civ that already has an empire, and the Iroquois just don't yet.
I think that's true. There is a tier 2 one which just kind of give you a nice, healthy boost to all your military production. I think I have to double check, but it's the one that's called Total War. That one would be quite handy if they took it, but they haven't taken that tenet yet. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to reveal which ones they've taken, but the ones they've taken aren't especially powerful. So at the moment, not completely overpowered, but we could be seeing some interesting things in the future. Who knows? Certainly want to keep an eye on anyway.
Well,
should we move down the coast, or?
I mean, we can move down the coast for sure. Oh, wrong way. Do you want to look at the Aztecs?
They're there.
What?
They've settled some more cities. They
have more Jaguar warriors.
I think we should cut to the main event of South America.
You got it.
Which this week is, of course, Venezuela and Haiti. What the hell's going on? Hello?
This is the Miracle Run.
This is Haiti in the heats for the Olympic 100 meters, where someone that's not them has just broken all of their rivals' ankles before the race starts, and even then they've fallen over on the blocks, and everyone's like halfway up ahead of them. But somehow they've all just collapsed at the same time, and Haiti's slowly catching up and might almost get 4th place.
A freak lightning storm hits, and thunderbolts strike down.
And we're all of a sudden in Tonga, and we're all Mormons.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I feel a bit guilty almost as the PRs because we've kind of been talking Haiti down since the start. We had them in 61st place for part 0. I think
part 1.
To be fair, Haiti was shit in every single test, and
they weren't actually. They were shit in 9 out of 10 tests.
They did snipe Carasas once.
They did. So it does have precedent, but it was very rare. I think for me, the reason that Haiti were in... Sorry, just broke up. For me, the reason Haiti were in 61st rather than another civ like the Manx or Tonga, who, you know, often struggle even more to get onto the continent than Haiti do. The reason they were in 61st is just because I saw Haiti dying first so often in these tests. Haiti and Manoa were the 2 civs that nearly always one of those 2 were the first to go. Obviously, this run's already broken that trend, but there's something about their position, both of those civs, where they just... So that unless they play everything exactly right, a neighbouring civ, usually Venezuela or the Ottomans or Nubia for Manoa, or even Libya for Manoa actually, a neighbouring civ will come in, build a small navy, and then just completely destroy them. So, yeah, I think that's why I had them bottom, but I still didn't expect this. But they haven't captured anything yet. So what do we think the chances that they will are?
I think the chances of capturing Caracas is quite high. And I also think their chances of keeping Caracas is also quite high. The problem is that at the current turn, the units that are surrounding Caracas are thinly reinforced, but they have reinforcements on the way at the very least. I think given a couple turns, Caracas will be Haitian very soon. Though, if it'll stay that way, that's a bigger question that's harder to answer.
Venezuela certainly have more ranged units than melee units, which could be the decider, possibly.
And it
so
also,
keep an eye on...
I think another thing that needs to come into play is Uruguay, because right now you can see those Uruguayan scouts are blocking the road between Caracas and Maracaibo.
Oof, this feels awfully familiar.
Yeah, it's almost like there's been another battle royale where a Mesoamerican civ and its wars have been interrupted by peacekeepers from very far away, but on the same continent.
Or for more era poignant, it's very Polish to me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I was thinking
Polish Scout 2, Love Never Dies.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Hawaii with peacekeeping in
I think we can agree there's a proud tradition in CBR history of getting in the way.
Yep.
Going around to pick the flowers or whatever.
But I think for me, I think that even if Haiti do capture Caracas, I'm still struggling to see them making an impact on the continent. Because...
but them making an impact... I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say, maybe not on the continent, but an impact on the level of the Buccaneers. This isn't a bad start for this civilization. This is kind of a start that we would usually say, yeah, this is natural Bucks behavior, but instead it's Haitian behavior.
Well, I would say the one big difference there is the Bucks by this point already had a fair few cities down on the island. Haiti's expansion bias is still super low, and that is still going to really, really hurt them in the long run, I think.
Yeah, also you have to remember that the Buccaneers, their land in South America was so accessible because they had basically all of Colombia and Venezuela to play with in this, and then they also settled Panama.
And the Panama Canal.
Yep.
Yes.
Whereas here, they not only is there already a civ in Mexico, but they are if this was a Bucks, if this was Mark II, Haiti would be doing fine. They'd probably have like a couple of cities in Colombia, but they can't because there's already a Civ there. What I think is going to happen is Haiti distract Colombia for long enough for Kuikuro to actually like get up a decent core. So the impact might actually be in enabling Kuikuro to be like not the terrible Civ we've seen in a lot of tests.
I haven't seen much evidence to persuade me that the Kuikuro are going to do anything yet.
They've already done more this game. They've done more this game than they have in half the tests, though.
No, they normally get about 3 cities out. They just normally lose them. But Venezuela are obviously not playing to their best of their abilities just yet. And Uruguay have kind of, well, they're steady. Uruguay's steady. I still think Uruguay are by far the most preeminent Civ on that side of the cylinder. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that the Aztecs haven't been good as well, which sort of gives Venezuela a get out of jail card. That if the Aztecs don't really settle like beyond about El Salvador and Yucatan, then the Venezuelans will have a couple of free cities in like Honduras, Nicaragua area.
Shall we see our first ever empire in exile?
Go on then.
What?
Go on then. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying like, can we go and see why? I was tired and confused.
No,
I thought we did.
I said empire in exile, as in, can we see Venezuela lose its capital but create a large empire elsewhere outside of what should be Venezuela?
They have the potential to. I mean, they have
Possibly,
settlers down in Colombia in the kind of the real kind of upper limits of the Amazon basin, and they could even go into Mesoamerica. Cause it's not like the Aztecs are going to claim it. The Aztecs are doing their darndest to be as unassuming as possible. Or rather, the Aztecs are doing their best ever in impression of Maya.
The Aztecs are just stealth Aztecs this time.
Yeah, then well, we'll move on to those another week, I'm sure.
I swapped the Civ ball from the giant headdress to the Jaguar one this week.
Oh,
just because they're not being flamboyant. They're in disguise.
Yeah, they're in disguise. That's a very optimistic reading. You know, they're just they're bad.
They're waiting until they only have one competitor fighting glorious single combat.
So, I think we should move on to our second point for South America this week, and I want to talk about the Amazon belt, if you like, the two civs that are kind of caught in the middle of the continent this week. So that's the Kuikuro and the Nazca. Neither of them have particularly wowed or impressed, although Lordia, apparently a huge Kuikuro fan. So I'm kind of interested as to how these two civs can establish themselves in the game, because I don't think it's over for either of them yet by any means, even though they've both had slow starts. I'm interested as to what you two think, what you guys think that the best moves for those two civs would be in the next couple of parts.
I'll just start by saying people in this game, because it's happening a lot faster, are being hugely downers on anyone that's not like going like hell for leather and declaring war people. So the Aztecs have been given a bit of shit, so have Haida, so have UPeak. And yes, I get that it is because there are a lot of civs playing faster than in Mark II. But you have to remember, in Mark II, there were still maybe 30 or 40 civs that played very slow at the start that came through strong because of other events that fell around them. Yeah, there were a lot that died, so like your Sri Lankas, your Persias, but there are your Koreas. There are, to an extent, people like Ethiopia and that, but they didn't really necessarily do too much in the early game, but just survived, built up an empire, and went from there. So I think the best thing they can do is actually just stay out of trouble, because they're both next neighbors that should be stronger, really. And if they can build up a solid core, they should be fine.
Well, what if trouble comes to them, though? I'm not too worried for Nazca at the moment, because they're kind of protected by the Andes. But I am wondering if the Kuikuro is going to get a Uruguayan notice through the door sooner rather than...
I think that Kuikuro is going to be safe for a couple more parts. I think I do have to agree with you, Lax, that the mountains are going to protect the Nazca, and they're going to end up like the Inca in Mark II. But
Oh god, a great fate.
Mhm.
Not
They're
a
probably,
great fate.
the Nazca are already better than the Inca. They've actually settled like away from the mountains and the jungles. But
Estequeria, yes, they've got one city sitting in the Amazon rainforest, although they've not followed it up just yet. I think they've got another settler out, so
Yeah,
we
they've
should
got
see if-
another
Yeah, you
settler.
can see it right there. It's
there, yeah.
right next to Kuhekugu, and it
Weirdly-
seems to be like it's going to be a forward settle against the Kuakuro.
That'd be fun. Yeah, keep an eye on
I
that.
think
wonder
the
if those
issue is
two
that
would be able to probably.
yeah, I agree, that would actually be quite fun. But I think the issue is that there's no really aggressive Andes civ except for modern Peru under Castilla. None of the indigenous and Andean civs have particularly high aggression or expansion. So
I mean, you would think the Incas should, right? Like, they were massive. They were like the Inca Empire. It kind of boggles the mind how big it was, and they didn't even have a writing system. Like, it was so huge. It went all the way, like, from fucking Ecuador and South Colombia all the way down to, like, central Chile. Like, that's humongous.
Yeah,
That's
well, I
so
mean,
big.
The Incan Empire's route of expansion wasn't how we would view a route of expansion. Our Western idealization of expansion is just very different. But so
just
the
built
Inca
roads.
not necessarily. Yeah, they built a lot of roads and they built a lot of food and infrastructure around the Andes Mountains. They really used their rivers to their advantage. So I'm not necessarily surprised that the AI isn't that expansive for the vanilla Incans.
yeah, I mean we've got models in this chat, but yeah, like what's his name, Juanca Capac or Tupac Katari or some kind of aggressive Inca civ.
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, who's the Inca leader? That's Manco.
Pachacuti,
Pachacuti.
who is Manco Capac? No, they're different people. Pachacuti was Huayna Capac, wasn't he? And then Manco Capac's a different one.
Oh, I have no idea. We've reached the limit of my knowledge of the Inca Empire.
Yeah, Top Hat saying Inca Splat when. Yeah, Top Hat, you do that, please. The other one is that there was a Civ, the Civ design competition did cover Inca a while ago as a category. I made a design for it, but there were a couple of good designs. Maybe.
Yeah,
Huayna was different.
I'm up.
Oh, okay.
Well, they've got till whenever CBRX Season 2 voting is, so...
No, because you should vote for Peru, because Peru are the best Civ in the region.
You should.
I just don't like... I like all native civs. I like native civs. I'm a vote for native civs. I did vote for Uruguay, in fairness, but, you know...
You should
other than
vote for the up-and-coming abs under Antara in the middle of Saudi Arabia. But we'll get to the Middle East later.
Yeah, we'll wind our way there when we get there.
I'd also just like to take this time to clarify that Selknam have not affected any of us power rankers this week. We're all perfectly well in mind, and we're capable of ranking independently, which is why Selknam have gone down this week.
Yes, we've been freed of their mild grasp on us from last week, so you'll be glad to know.
I had some weird thoughts this week.
We've all had weird intrusions, but I think we've looked past them. That's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
What's important is we can acknowledge the voices in our head and move past.
It's a lot easier when they're speaking some language you don't understand, to be fair.
Yeah, well, when it's just all a garble.
I want to talk about
okay.
Europe. Absolutely. My first comment about Europe before we get into any topics. Weird thing, the Sami aren't producing one bit of faith, despite it being one of the most faith-driven civs in the game.
This is like a very minor side point, but yeah, the faithless Sami, the atheist Sami.
Yeah, and it's sad because their religion is really, really cool.
Unpronounceable.
No idea what. Yeah, it's got the coolest icon. It's a deer with missing part.
Yeah. Alas, the Yupik are holding the banner for cool icon and unpronounceable religion name for this game.
On the bright side of the Sami, who declared war on Prussia during the last turn of the part, they do have a decent military. a very decent military.
They do.
Very
which
strong
we
military.
kind of expect from them.
But it's mostly in Scandinavia. So if they can move it around Finland and down into the Balkans, or
Well, somebody-
the Baltics.
Somebody in the PRs commented, I can't remember who it was, I'm afraid, but somebody commented that it looks like they're moving the army south down through Sweden, thinking that they can reach Prussia that way, but they can't embark yet.
Scouting
I don't know
game week, Yadney.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know.
No,
We'll see. We'll see.
to be fair, the most likely situation in that case is they're going for Hedeby and the Viking cities.
Maybe, but I honestly, I don't see it currently.
Well, I think
We'll see.
the thing to talk about is we've got this war, this crazy,
Yeah, we've got this
realistic, historically accurate European war.
Yeah, it's gone very 30 years, hasn't it? Do I mean 30 years? 37 years? I fucking get it.
I think it's the 7
they-
years.
7 years.
7 years was the weird one.
So yeah, it's very chaotic. Does anyone want to try and summarize the wars that are happening? Because I know.
So basically, the war started when Czechia forward settled the Ottomans and then overextended. They were declared war on by Prussia, the Ottomans, and HRE at varying
Yes.
times. Prussia was then declared war upon by the Sami and Muscovy, both of its
Yes.
northern and eastern neighbors respectively.
And
HRE,
that was-
meanwhile,
that
settled.
was as a result of Prussia taking Pilsen.
Yes, they took a city, so they got declared war upon. HRE, meanwhile, Venice forward settled with Verano, and Venice then tried to take HRE's southwesternmost city.
Yeah,
And nothing really came of that war. I think they made peace actually with the part.
I think you're right.
But so far, what we have now is Ottomans still throwing. I think they're still at war with Czechia.
No, they're not. They made
They're
peace
not,
a while back.
so they're fine then. HRE
they're
are
out of it.
HRE are out of everything. There's just Prussia now being gangbanged by all of their neighbours except the one that can actually kill them, the Goths.
Yeah, no. The Goths, I think, are at war with Prussia, but they just can't get an army there because Muscovy's in the way.
And also they declared war on the Golden Horde and used most of their army up there.
Yeah,
last
obviously.
part.
Though they are also at peace now, I believe. And obviously HRE
Yes.
and Prussia are also at war. And the reason for that is because Ashurbanipal illegally seized the throne from Bismarck. Am I right in thinking that?
Yep.
This is all canon.
Oh yeah, so I want to talk about that actually. So it's meant to change when they hit the classical era, but they haven't actually hit the classical era. The best thing we've come up with is that it's just another side effect of changing where the save was. Now, when it was reloaded because of whatever they had to do, that resulted in the ideology coming about the Iroquois. It reset the emperor count and it brought up Ashurbanipal instead of Bismarck for the.
It's either that or
technically-
Ashurbanipal did a full.
So, funnily, it technically is an illegal seizure of the throne. It's not
Exactly.
a natural election. My question is, though, I don't know all the special abilities that each of the elected leaders have, because each of the elected leaders has an ability tied to their election. So Darius, an example, has almost his exact UA copy and pasted, but Genghis Khan, his is a faith-based UA. So my question is, did Ashurbanipal receive his amazing UA that allows him to steal texts after conquering cities, or did Ashurbanipal receive some weird UA in return? Because that could be a big.
I believe he
divider.
only changes there's only a couple that aren't changed because it's the ones that are just like kind of flat bonuses. Like Darius's one just it's just a golden age. Your golden ages are better basically. I'm pretty sure Ashurbanipal is a science-based one, but I'm not entirely sure.
I have no idea. My question is: will the HRE get fucking siege towers? Because they're fucking
No,
incredible.
that's not how it
No,
works.
they will not.
Oh,
They only get a medieval unique unit and a Renaissance unique unit,
that's probably
and that's
balanced.
picked
probably
and that's
balanced.
picked. Yeah, that's picked when they elect a leader in that era, and then that
Gotcha.
stays there for the rest of
Yeah,
the time.
the one that gets the Civs units is the Chi.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. That's the one. And they also can't get siege towers because Assyria isn't in the game. In case you hadn't noticed. They nearly were. They did very well in the polls, but they didn't quite make it.
Yeah, but that's enough Mark III overlap already in this game.
Yeah, true. So yeah.
Vote Lebanon.
I think for me, for the moment, is actually Muscovy, Prussia. These were two civs that I have, coming into Part 0, had very little faith in doing well. And so it's interesting to see them at war with each other, and actually in kind of a hot war, because Danzig is taking damage. There is genuinely fighting going on between
That
them.
says more to Prussia being shit than Muscovy being good. Muscovy just sends some units, and Prussia's then.
I wouldn't even say that. I think that Prussia is overextended. Yet
Yeah.
I am not ashamed of the fact that I ranked Prussia in 9th, because I'm not afraid that Muscovy is going to take Danzig. Prussia has a very large military. As long as it just thins out Muscovy's military, Prussia really doesn't have anything to worry about. And it can continue being the largest nation in Europe so far.
Oh yeah.
HRE.
On turn 60, Danzig went up health rather than down.
So it's
Despite
recovering.
being surrounded. Yeah, and also
Great job, Ivan. Great job.
Yeah, that's from Aaron's stats. Well, Aaron has just provided us with the stunning stat that Prussia are not only first in production, I think at this point, they're first in food as well. So they're growing and producing faster than everyone else in Cylinder.
That is incredible.
Yeah, this is an unprecedented game by Prussia, but I've seen Prussia do well. I said, as long as they do one good move, they could really be a top dog. And right now, after seeing them take Payson, I don't doubt that they're probably going to be a big dog around Europe.
Yeah,
so
Prussia.
I still have them in the 40s, as I do HRE. I don't understand where they can go from here. I don't have any idea where they can go. For me, Prussia have reached their peak. They're not only that they're at war with all their neighbours, but their neighbours are all seemingly have similar or equal military scores to them at this point. To me, they're cornered. They're completely shut off from further expansion, while civs like the Goths, the Golden Horde, and even Muscovy, and of course the Sami, still have plenty of room to grow and build their empire easily, naturally. So I am feeling fairly confident that we won't see Prussia. I would say Prussia at maximum will have 2 more cities in this game than they currently have, and that's the absolute maximum. I think
Yeah,
they can go.
that's a pretty hot take. But regarding like Europe in general, we haven't seen like one civ emerge as a strong military power that I think enough to be super scary. Prussia could be that power. They could be the Sparta of this game.
Well, the Goths. The Goths
I
are one of the
don't
biggest
think-
armies in the cylinder. Surely.
They haven't used it. They had a chance to fluff the lines completely.
I mean,
The Sami could do it, but the
we're all
Sami
just-
have.
We're all just yelling at the Goths to declare war on Muscovy at this point, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
And
that-
it's just scary that it seems that the Golden Horde also has a military that, if the Goths decide to move, well, they might be in trouble.
that's classic Goths, though. It's very, very, very classic for them to build a huge army and then send it entirely to another civ and then completely forget to protect anything. That is like them to a T, and that's why we always have them ranked kind of mid-table, because it's always a toss-up every time they go to war, even if they've got a huge army, as to how many bleeding home cities they'll end up.
Yeah, I think the other thing that in Europe in general to look at is Vikings and Sami. So we were quite harsh on the Vikings, I think. They're still like top half, but we were harsh on the top half
Just top half.
Yeah,
Spoiler
But-
alert.
yeah, they do have a bit of a military now. They are settling a bit east. And remember, the Sami don't usually declare that many aggressive wars, so I think they'll be fine to like build a strong war and then just wreck everybody in the medieval era.
We'll see. They could definitely pull a Sweden, but to be honest, they could also pull a Norway. I am not convinced enough yet that the Vikings have made the right settles in the right places. I'm not convinced that they've militarized enough in this early game, where the Sami, as we know, the Sami already have a huge military. They're building more, and they're not really using it at the moment. They're kind of just sitting on it. So as far as I can see, I don't really figure a way that the Vikings will ever overtake Sami military might.
Well,
Those two civs will go to war at some point. When,
Yeah, they will go to war at
They
some.
will.
I think the other thing though is that if Vikings can militarize out quickly, because civs can like carpet up in like 5-6 turns.
Of course.
If the Sami are moving their army south, like they are moving some of their army towards Finland and towards Prussia. If the Vikings were to just use their ships, if they managed to get their longships up, they could fairly straightforwardly take any coastal cities that they can reach.
Yeah, I mean, it should be said that the Vikings have two units which are both coming in the early medieval era, the Berserker and the Longship, both which are very strong, very powerful units.
So I'm not going to say strong.
As I've always said, I wouldn't go that far. When civs build UUs, or when civs reach their unit, they tend to like spamming them. So we could very well see a huge army come out in the early medieval era. But honestly, at the moment, I think they're still threatened by Sami. I think, honestly, feel like that war could be coming.
Yeah, maybe. I hope it doesn't, because I like the Vikings. They're a really fun civ. I could see them if they do manage to somehow settle an island city, then just end up like stranded on Gotland or something for like 20 turns. But if they do get rolled by the Sami, then just end up with one city either on mainland Europe or just on an island somewhere.
Yeah. Aaron says that the optimal Viking game plan is to ignore the Sami early game and only keep just enough units to defend against them and just conquer the British Isles and HRE as soon as they get their UUs. I guess, but I think that's quite a big. I think I'm not sure if they ignore the Sami. I'm not sure they'll have enough of a production base to keep that up with the HRE overperforming and what I think both of us. I keep saying both of us. There's only two of us here. All of us, I think, can foresee a future where the whole of the British Isles is united under one civ before too long.
Yeah, I think. On the topic of British Isles, it's almost over. I think it's just a matter of time now before Scotland get killed.
I don't know.
My thing is with the Vikings is that they have 3 settlers out, but they're still radically underperforming just because their production, their growth is so low. It's a lot low. I mean, I understand why it's low. It's mostly tundra, but they really haven't impressed. They haven't built up a military. They're not rivals to anybody. They're just a big, squishy, gelatinous mess right now. Yeah,
and I will definitely move them up if they make it to their units unscathed. I'm just at the moment. I think we've kind of brushed on every civ in Europe pretty much. So
yeah, I mean, I also want to just we have a section on Goths saying that they've not captured cities, they've gone up. The Goths have swung wildly from part to part. I think they've gone from like 22nd to 14th to 38th.
Yeah,
they 24th.
The thing about the Goths is I think we keep being impressed and disappointed by them in equal measure. On the one hand, their stats are looking phenomenal, but they are declaring wars. They're proving that their war bias is suitably high. They are aggressive. But they're just not declaring the right ones at the moment. The Golden Horde were the only civ nearby them at that time that were actually had enough forces to not lose a city to the Goths. And then, as we say, they can't even reach Prussia. Though I'm inclined to believe that's more of a war to get some kind of diplomacy points, so they might not be completely destroyed by every other civ next time that they declare an invasion. But maybe that's a generous reading. But yeah, so they're very hard to rank, the Goths. Every time I do a ranking, it's pretty much since part 0, I've struggled with the Goths.
Yeah, the Goths are one of those civs that I usually where I rank is I start at the top and start at the bottom, and wherever I sort of meet, that's sort of where I sit the Goths.
Right. Okay. That's your kind of perfect average civ, not necessarily mid-table, but like the perfect middle of the pack almost.
They are a very average civ at this point. I mean, they're above average, but their performance so far has been average.
Thing. If you want an average civ, I would say look
Tongu.
at
Tongu.
Tongu, yeah, or even Canton.
Yeah.
Or even someone like Palmyra. or even the Kazakhs.
Speaking of the Canton Pirates, let's move on to Asia.
Yes, although I think we're gonna. Well,
No, Asia.
We haven't
Do
done Africa
Asia.
yet. We've missed Africa.
We can go back down.
We'll talk about Africa in a bit.
Okay, well, we'll do.
I was on the line to look at the Canton Pirates and our first casualty.
It was a beautiful segue.
We will talk East Asia. We'll do a bit of a different route. We'll come back round to the rest of Asia and Africa later. But yes, the Shah are dead. My friends, my lovers, and indeed my family. I adore the Shah as a Civ. It's one of my favourite mods in the whole of the Civ 5 world. Tomatech is genius. So I was happy to see them in the game, and yet I did kind of know this day would come somewhat soon because their AI isn't great, and more to the point, they had one of the worst starting positions in the whole cylinder. China, it was a super competitive region with, Qing, Kamugs, Canton, all great AIs, all looming nearby. And they were right in the middle, right slap bang in the middle. For me, they were always goners, but I'm still surprised they went this quickly.
Yeah, I think what you're looking at is the classic. It's basically Europe Mark II, where too many civs too close, you die. And one civ just doesn't have the luck, doesn't have the military to fight back when they get declared war upon. And it happened to be that the closest city to Sheen was the capital, so they lost the capital straight up. Then Sheen did the same thing with the top city. And if it hadn't been for the fact that they had a southern neighbor, I think the difference between someone like Rome or someone like Byzantium is that they didn't have neighbors near them. Because Canton were there, they were able to snipe the city because they're aggressive, and for some reason didn't want to declare war on the Kamugs. But yeah, it's a bit sad, honestly, that there's not even this year got screwed by the starting position, but that the civs that got voted in are all known for being militaristic and aggressive.
Well, I would say a lot of the China. I mean, look at some other civs that were favourites. The other Chin mod, the blue Chin, a very good AI whose single bad game really was the Civ Battle Royale Mark 1. You've got the Song, who are a good AI.
The Han are a good AI.
Oh my god, if the Manchu had been in the game, that would have totally obliterated, the current shake-up of Asia because super, super strong.
Even you have Kocho as well, and Tangas, both pretty militaristic. Yuan, I think even Wu Yue meant to be pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know Wu Yue's AI that well, to be honest. But yeah, I think the China region in general.
Or the greatest of them all, Wu Zishan's China.
I don't know that one either, I'm afraid.
That's vanilla.
Oh.
I'm making a joke.
To be fair,
is it pronounced Zishan? I always say Zetian.
It's Wu Zetian.
Thank you. I'm not going to try and take that, but thank you for your flawless Mandarin.
But to be fair, even then, the Chuko Nu is just a fantastic unit.
Yeah, it is actually. But anyway, they're not in the game, so let's talk about who is in the game, because I want to talk about the legacy of the Shah. I want to talk about China, who is now
Episode 4, Legacy of the Shah.
Good name. Who is now in the best position to control China?
Shikoku.
I disagree.
I'm gonna say the Chin.
The Chin without a G. The Chin Shi Huang.
Yeah, I'm also on the Chin Shi Huang.
Chin.
What did you say, sorry, Caesar?
I'm pretty bearish on the Chin because they're in a really good city position, but the way they are situated between the Kamugs and the Qing, that's their weakness, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to say, in seriousness, I was joking about Shikoku. On the topic of positioning there, Scissor, the Kamungs are just about to spoon the Qing. Coming around the side there, and just going to box them in.
They have 3 settlers on the go. 3 settlers, just in the area, just about to settle that whole Tarim Basin desert area, which is basically where the Qin would next expand into. So, yeah, I see what you mean, Scissor, because I just mentioned how the Shah's main kind of crime was being in the middle, and Qin are kind of the new middle, but unlike Shah, they already have a big, strong core and a decent army and production base to boot. Not the best army in the world currently because they've just come off a war, but I've no doubt that it will be at the level of their neighbours sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I
Or
think
maybe it won't.
who wins China at this point? No China's Kamugs win China at this point because
I'm tempted to agree with you.
they've got positioning, and I think what's likely is that the Kamugs will come forward into Greater China. Qin will go northeast. They've already got a couple of settlers in Siberia. They're going to become Yakutia basically, and probably kill Korea while they're at it. And Canton, if they don't get killed, like if whoever takes China doesn't sweep over them, will probably go to war with Tongu, and I have no idea who'll win that war.
Yeah, that one, I wouldn't want to call that one. Probably a stalemate at the moment. You did mention Shikoku, though. Do you think Shikoku have any future in China?
I think there was a couple of discussions about Bahrain, and if Shikoku
The
could
forward
take it
tackle
in
by
an
the
naval
Karmaks,
attack.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
But I think what's going to happen is Shikoku, if I was a human, like telling them what to do, like coach them, let's say, just build a navy and go after Sulu or something, try and get like as much island presence as you can, because if you take out Korea's naval city, like coastal cities, you're going to be the only naval power in Southeast Asia because of Canton not pushing inland, it seems, for no reason.
Well, they are a third of the way into taking out Korea's coastal.
Well, if I was Shikoku, I would totally recommend going after Canton right now, because Canton right now is just researching sailing, and that just puts Canton at a really big disadvantage right now. So Shikoku's best option is to go after Canton right now, and if after sailing Canton decides to build a navy, that's a different story. But right now, it's like a perfect opportunity where Canton literally cannot fight back.
Do you think that Shikoku should continue and take the capital of Korea, however?
I mean,
It's
they
a
should, but I don't think they will.
one-tile ingress navally, and I think there's a hill and a mountain right next to where they would come from Pyongyang or Pyeongchang, whatever it is. So I don't think they're going to be able to take it because it's a fairly defensible city as the capital. But if they do, that'd be.
Yeah, I think if they'd spotted it, they could nab that city up to the is it Busan, up the one that's like near Vladivostok. I think if they found that city, they could probably take it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's Busan.
I don't even know if they've scouted it yet, so they may well not even know of its existence. I gotta say, I would absolutely love for Shikoku to really commit their navy into like a fruitless war at Hanseong, while Korea is secretly taking up sailing and then just like launch an armada from there and sweep down. That's never going to happen. So
that's kind of like almost like whatchamacallit, that one naval maneuver that Japanese commander did against the Russians in the sea. He sent his navy all the way around Honshu to attack from behind.
That's the crafty. Who would have thought that you could go the other way around an island?
I know, it's a revolutionary idea.
I feel like the Russians should have spotted that. They should have seen that coming. Simple. I want to talk briefly before we leave Asia. I want to talk about a little discussion on one final civ in the region, the Evenks. Now, the Evenks are an interesting one for us power rankers this week because we thought we'd written all the write-ups about 3 days ago, and we're just working on the slides now. And about 5 minutes before the podcast started, we realised that no one had done the Evenks write-up. And I think that in itself describes their last part.
But look at the reindeer, Lex.
Sorry?
Look at all those reindeer.
All those reindeer. Isn't that the Nenettes?
And like, we can't. How do you make a pun with snore and reindeer?
Oh dear. There must be one of the reindeers, like one of the Santa's reindeer names that has snore in it.
We don't have to call them the Snoryanks. We could
Shitson.
call them... I was gonna say the please leave Anks.
Well, that's something. This is the thing, though. I'm interested because while they didn't settle any new cities this part, they do still have a decent core of 5, and even more than that, I think it's interesting how the Camugs have kind of moved a lot of their army and a lot of their attention down south. Do we think there is a chance here for the Camugs to possibly build something for themselves?
The Camugs or the Evanks?
Sorry, the Evanks. I mean the Evanks.
I think they could, if only because there's really no one to the west. The Nenets the saving grace of the Evanks is the Nenets are even worse. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
God, dreadful Sif.
Yeah, both of them aren't that great either. Cantimancy.
What's funny is if you look at the military makeup of the Evanks, aside from scouts that we don't see, their military, whilst huge, only sports 4 military units or melee units.
Oh, only 4 melee units, right? Yeah, but I mean they're not. Well, they are at war. Sorry, how could I forget? They're at war with Prussia.
Which means nothing.
Does anyone see them taking some Prussian city? No, probably not.
If anything, if I see
Evanks are the new Finland.
One Evank scout just accidentally blunders into the gates of Danzig and just takes it, while the Muscovy and Sami are attacking it.
No, Frederick's going to give it away in a peace deal.
That's more likely.
Frederick gives away Pilsen to the Evanks. Evanks accidentally create a European empire.
Danzig is like in the red. Muscovy are about to take it, and Frederick just chucks it to the Evanks as a gift.
At that point, the
glorious.
Goths declare war on the Evanks.
I mean, Muscovy would just declare war on the Evanks, or maybe they wouldn't. I don't know.
Evanks take Danzig in a peace deal. Goths declare war on Evanks. Evanks give away one of their core cities in a peace deal to the Goths. Goths kill the Evanks and end up killing the Camugs to win the game.
Oh.
I think it's unlikely. If I'm being brutal.
Nah, it's 100% chance, guys. On your prediction threads, I want to see this on your prediction threads, right?
You want to get that on? Get that on, guys. If you make a hot take like every week, does it steadily become colder? Is it like kind of the stock?
Yeah, well, I mean,
is that how the stock market works? Is my next question.
Hot takes getting colder. So a good investment is a really hot take. So a lot of people do it, then it gets colder and colder because it's not hot anymore. That's how stocks.
Right. Oh God. I don't want to think. Could you merge the predictions thread and the BRSE into just like one big kind of?
Well, yeah. There's a joke in Overwatch. I think it's a vast streams of predictions that. If you get them right, your stock goes up. So you as a person are worth more if your predictions are good. So that could be the same sort of thing. Integrate a stock exchange where your stock rises in price. People buy into predictors. On the second hand, that could be incredibly demoralizing if you're like not very good at this.
Yeah. I'm terrible at predictions, for the record.
Buy stocks in Lordy now.
No, I'm pretty good. I like to think I'm okay. Let's go to Oceania anyway. I think we're done with Asia. Alas, there's no film trailer to watch this week, guys.
Yeah. We can read it. Can we read a review?
Are the reviews out?
Well, yeah. It's been out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, get a review. This is for those of you who have not listened to previous episodes. What's wrong with you? And secondly, we are of course talking about the Disney smash hit. Is it The Other Side of Heaven?
Other Side of Heaven 2, Fire of Fate.
The Other Side of Heaven 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Wait, did we forget India?
Yes, we did.
We'll come back around.
We're swinging back. We're doing
so
a weird
here
thing.
is a 1.5 stars out of 5 review from RogerEbert.com. Christy Lamaya writes, 18 years after the release, Mitch Davis has made The Other Side of Heaven 2, which makes this the other side of heaven? ? Purely from production. That's genuinely like a quote from the review.
I thought that was going to be the whole review. I thought that was going to be it.
Purely from production value standpoint, the sequel is more accomplished than most faith-based movies, that includes his 2001 predecessor, a Mormon melodrama that was notable only for the presence of young Anne Hathaway.
Faith-based movie makes it sound like they're talking about a Civ, right?
Yeah, it's a faith-based movie.
This is a faith-based movie.
Obviously, these guys have never seen God's Not Dead, He's Surely Alive.
Yeah, so here we go. But Davis's dialogue remains clunky, and he never misses an opportunity to punctuate every feel-good moment with overwhelming, swelling music. He draws stiff performances from most of his actors whose interactions are painfully awkward. As was the case with the original film, and I would also just say, like most films these days, I add, the structure is predictably episodic. Something catastrophic happens, the characters pray, then a miracle occurs. Rinse and repeat.
Oh, those good old miracles, huh? It's almost like it's a god. I just don't understand why this is a Disney film, right? Like,
apparently, there's a lot of praise for Christopher Gorham's performance as John Groberg, the Mormon missionary whose memoirs inspired the film.
Oh, well done.
Perhaps some insight into religious politics in the United States. It's a very skewed view if you just say, well, the majority of politicians or the majority of the wealthy in the United States are Christian. Yes, that's true, but the
religion.
Which branch of religion? It happens to be Mormonism that takes over. As far as sects of Christianity goes, Mormonism is the largest sect of Christianity that controls major U.S. politics. It's also notable to note that Mormonism is the fastest growing sect of Christianity in the United States, even faster than Catholicism, which has all of a sudden gotten a resurgence.
That's because Mormons are the only ones that bother to actually send out like missionaries. Everyone else is just like using the kind of natural kind of expansion from cities, the natural kind of faith kind of.
They use the trade route.
The Holy See.
Mormons are going out and going for it.
Jerusalem. Whereas the Mormons are actually building, they're actually training missionaries, or purchasing missionaries, I should say, and spreading it around the continent.
I think they also.
The Mormons charge missionaries $12,000 per mission.
Say that again.
They charge where they pay them, or they charge them.
They charge them.
So to be a Mormon missionary, you have to pay $12,000.
Last time I checked.
I don't know about that, but the point is that I was getting at is that Mormonism is a huge religion in the United States, and a lot of people don't recognize that, even Americans themselves. And the idea that Mormons basically bought Disney in order to, well, not literally bought, but basically shelled out a lot of money to Disney to make a couple of Mormon movies is actually really not out of this world. It's very, very likely. Yeah,
I forget how religiously dominated the US is. Like, here there's a bit of, I mean, the more religious politics come from the, I don't want to, like, slag off, like, a huge portion of the British public, but the intolerance of certain religions in the UK by a notable group of people, rather than the actual like power of the religious sects or anything like that.
What's great is I have no idea who you're talking about, and yet I'm like more worried like than I've ever been in my life on this podcast.
We're just too polite to say that there's that the Brexit Party hate Muslims. Right?
I mean, are you afraid to say it? That's pretty obvious to me.
I don't think that's. I mean. Yeah, I don't think that's even limited to just the Brexit Party. I think that's most right-wing party.
Speaking of intolerant bastards that I hate, in Greece, the Golden Dawn no longer holds any seat in Greek Parliament. Fuck you.
But the centre right did win, so for me, I'm a left-winger. If you couldn't,
I mean, Lax, have you seen
the socialist accent?
Did you? Were you the one that sent the preliminary poll results for a general in the UK, pointing towards a four-way split between Lib Dems, Labour, Tories, and Brexit Party, plus SNP getting all of Scotland?
hung parliaments are like heroin to me. They're like political speed. They're bad for me, mental health, but I can't get enough of them. I love it. I love the drama.
All I want is the SNP. What I want at this point is for the SNP to be the kingmakers for a parliament, and then just say, you know what, fuck you guys, we're being independent now.
The last thing I want to talk about Oceania, because it shouldn't be a long topic. The majority of New Zealand's military. Yeah, that, but also the majority of New Zealand's navy is actually surrounding Tonga, but not even in an aggressive way. And it's really petering out in this war against the Murray. So I really, honest to God, think that this is a war that nobody should care about.
Was that war?
Didn't this war
always? It's not over yet, thing.
It's still happening.
Was that war always doomed for relevancy, or did New Zealand really squander a chance?
I mean, I don't think they really squandered a chance. They did have a fairly decently sized navy, and they just, rather than move it west, they moved it east. They're doing that Japanese tactic. They're going on the other side of the island to attack, but they're just
the other side of Australia.
Exactly. But otherwise, I think Oceania is kind of a dead topic this week. I think we should move on somewhere else.
Australasia is just slowly, I think, unless Sulu just pull out some world-class play, going to be Australia gets bigger and bigger until they just kill everybody in the region.
Sorry, there's one thing.
Yeah, that lags. Just try again.
You're cutting out there.
Do you know what? I'm just gonna change my settings. You guys talk.
I mean, I guess it is notable to point out that the Sulu have created a lot of proa, their unique ship.
I'm back.
But
no, what I wanted to say was notable actually is that of the kind of the big kind of island turtles, which I'm kind of thinking of them at the moment, with Sula, Papua, New Zealand, and Tonga. All four of them have super high science scores. They are all tech leaders, even Papua, even disappointing old Papua. Now, there's a number of reasons for that. They did get an extra tech to start off with, just by merits of being a coastal civ, by being an island civ.
Yeah, but Scotland didn't get. Justice for Scotland.
Let's not get into that because it could be controversial. But I actually it defies even that, because they're doing so well in science that people are kind of theorizing that the fact that maybe the early harbour or the early lighthouses are giving them a boost or something. It's kind of confusing, and we're not quite sure why it is. But island civs in general are really coming up.
I think it is the lighthouse, but not for that reason. I think it's like, if you look at that, the Tonga capital is 15 pop, and it's a 2-tile island. The second city is 12 tile. It's 12 pop, and it's a 1-tile island. They are getting huge, and I think it might even be the science from the number of citizens more than anything else, combined with libraries, which gives you science per citizen. And yeah, that's probably what it is, that they have just huge populations now, so are getting really thick cities and lots of science.
That makes sense to me.
I see your point. I mean, do we think that science can save them in the long run?
New Zealand would be the only one I'd give a shot. Maybe Sulu. Sulu aren't like as bad as Tonga or Papua, where they're stuck on tiny islands and won't be able to necessarily get that much production. However, I think New Zealand have enough land, and Sulu definitely have enough land to maybe try and strike out a proper empire. But yeah, I don't think there's any way like Papua or Tonga come top half even. They'll survive, but they're not going to be challenging.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I do wonder if they could maybe rush a naval tech with a really good naval tech with all that good science, and beat everyone up with some kind of what's the next level up from trials?
No, you can't get galleasses because you need to get education, which is behind another like vortex before you can get.
Right. Well, maybe not then. We shall move on. I think we'll go to South Asia now, guys. Seeing as though we've mucked up the order.
Today, now it is India hour. Also,
Yes.
we talked about Tonga, but it was too early. We missed like 20 minutes ahead of Tonga time.
Yeah, you see, if we stuck to schedule, maybe we'd have got it right. Anyway, I want to talk specifically about the civilization of India this week because while the PRs aren't out, I will say that India actually got a huge uptick in the ranking this week, moving to be, I believe, the highest ranked civ of that region. And I just got to ask the question, why? Because
I don't know. I thought I put Maratha first.
I didn't
Of the
put
three.
India the highest. I did rank them pretty high, however, because just look at this slide. This is like half of their territory, and they've got a huge military that is composed of not just range units, but melee units, and all their neighbors are preoccupied, and India can just charge into the Seljuk territory, and they have a good chance of expanding into Central Asia.
But will they?
I mean, they might. That's like asking me the question: will the Comugs settle coastal Scythia? Well, they did, but if you asked me 2 parts ago, I'd say probably not for a while, and then they did. It's just India has their chances of doing what I had just mentioned are a lot higher in this case, and of course, having a coastal city. That's a huge boon to them now too, because they can now start trying to flex their muscles on the Indian Ocean and the Persian Gulf.
It feels to me counterintuitively that there's almost too many soldiers around that region now, though. Like, it's the era before you can really hit hard with carpets because they're all still weak ass units. But kind of India, Nepal, and Maratha have all built quite like carpet like armies, like huge.
You say
monoliths.
Maratha haven't that much.
No, Maratha haven't so much. India and Nepal mainly, but they're really clogging up that kind of central India region. And I'm struggling to see how they're going to attack anything at the moment. It just feels like the terrain is too limiting for how many soldiers they have. That's just kind of where I'm seeing. I think my other big problem with India is again, unlike for example other civs of the region like Tongu or even Maratha. It's now increasingly hard to see where India can settle again. They're looking a little bit European in the sense that they seem quite locked in to me. But I don't know if anyone else. Also, they lost a settler. I don't know if anyone saw that. Maratha nabbed a settler from them. The crafty fellas. So
I think
that's a minus in my books.
I said this last week that the longer India and Nepal continue to throw bad units at Maratha, the better chance Maratha have being able to just get big and get a lot of cities out and just get a proper empire sorted whilst Nepal and India focus on units. So it's still happening, and you should all have Maratha in like 15th.
Well, it's interesting because I think Maratha are kind of doing that. They're kind of they're ignoring India and Nepal's attacks. Basically, they're just kind of brushing them off and just keeping their normal strategy of ignore the war. We'll just keep expanding like the plan was.
Also India do have the best stats, which is like fair.
True. I would look at Jinji, which is one of the new Marathan cities. I do wonder if that's going to turn Nepalese next part. I think there's a chance for that. There's definitely a big Nepalese army outside it and not many Marathi units inside it. But other than that, I think South Asia looks pretty stable despite the fact it's entirely at war. What do you?
Yeah, it's a three-way on pass.
Okay, so should we move on to Central Asia?
We talked about Central Asia.
We didn't.
We did not. We did not.
Oh, that's Central Asia. I thought China was
the one in the center, in the middle.
That's West Asia.
Western Central
Middle
Asia in
East.
one category.
That's Eastern Europe.
It's not that. No, it's assuredly
She's
not.
talking about where the Kazakhs, the Uzbeks, the Tajiks, the Kyrgyz would be, plus the Netherlands.
Well, talking about that and kind of the Middle East, because I'm wondering if things are stagnating in the whole kind of Western Asia, Central Asia region. The Seljuks have kind of been pushed back to a very defensible territory. They're kind of back to their core mountain cities. We've got no progress in the Kazakh Nenets war. They've barely even thrown a soldier at each other.
To the surprise of nobody, I think we had, given the last part.
Yeah. So it feels to me like there is a deadlock almost in this region. What do we guys think could break it? Where do we think the next kind of hot war could come from?
Artillery.
Oman.
Oh God, that's a very, very negative, pessimistic view, Lord.
I think, Oman are looking probably the best. Otherwise, I think Palmyra into Ottomans, if they get remilitarized.
I think Constantinople's too difficult, personally.
It's a hard attack. But otherwise, genuinely, the cities you have are the Golden Horde cities in the Caucasus and these ridiculously defensible Seljuk cities. So maybe Parthia go after India, maybe Parthia go after the Kazakhs.
Well, that's actually the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, the Nenets have just shat out these reindeer archers that just have cost no production and do a little bit of damage, and will just clog up the Kazakh war machine, and have done for like 40 turns at this point.
The Kazakhs have barely even committed their war machine. No, this is on the Kazakh.
Yeah, Kazakhs bad.
I think they've lost like one unit. I think the Parthia is an interesting take there, because actually I ranked Parthia pretty high this week. I was definitely the outlier, but I think Parthia are suddenly looking quite scary. They've got a very, very handy army. They've kind of suitably brushed aside the Seljuks, and with the Kazakhs kind of going north, there's suddenly a very, very interesting border situation. Now, we've talked a little bit in the past about Almaty, Hekatompelos, that area around the, I think it's the Siridaria River, it might be the Amudarya, I always get them confused.
You said one of them last part, and
it's
right,
near the Aral Sea, that one.
Isn't the Aral Sea not there anymore?
It still exists.
It's on our map.
It's drying. It's drowning pretty bad.
Anyway, that kind of front, if you like, that kind of border is still very demilitarized. However, the Kazakhs and Parthia both founded a new city last part, both in the kind of region around Turkmenistan, just kind of south of the sea. And I think that looks a lot hotter. There's a huge Parthian army near their capital, Nisa, and the Kazakhs have kind of snuck a very subtle forward settle in with Otrar, which kind of went under everyone's noses. And I wonder if that could be a catalyst.
And Aaron points out that we've got the Parthians were the first civ to the classical era because they just researched horse riding immediately.
Yeah, and that's obviously a good.
And they're both getting out. They're getting out the unique horsemen. So I don't know what the Parthia one is, but I'm pretty sure the Kazakh one is the Tolu Batyr, but I'm not sure.
You can actually see in this slide right next to Nisa, Parthia produced its first unique unit.
Yeah, I think it's just a stronger horseman. So Kazakh one, I believe, is the exact same as that icon. It's the icon for the unique unit. So
right,
the
horsemen aren't great units, and you'd definitely rather have a more traditional melee unit.
Battering ram.
But yes, you'd rather have the Assyrian siege tower is what you'd want. But enough about that. But I do think in this kind of plains environment, that could prove very, very handy in a war with the Kazakhs, bearing in mind just how spread out the Kazakh territory is. I think it will really help stop reinforcements from the north if they can launch a really quick attack with horsemen, just to get rid of any vestiges of reserves Kazakhs are holding back.
Yeah, so I think if it was a human, Parthia could do it really well. Parthia's AI is looking good, but we've all seen how AIs can change, like even from like turn to turn. Like look at Carthage Mark II or something.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Never presume anything. Oh, sorry, my thumb keeps slipping off the button. It was kind of briefly mentioned, but we didn't go into too much detail. About Amman, and obviously Amman's kind of at war with the Seljuks at the moment. They've managed to take Ray. It looks like they'll probably hold on to it as well. But
although you can't see it in this unnarrated video. It is in the part itself where they did take Ray.
Yes. And on top of that, however, I would say that the remainder of the Celtic territory now is too far away and too protected by mountains for a man to really crack. So, what do we think of the potential of an Oman-Palmyra war? Who would we kind of favour in that matchup at the moment? Because I'm not sure.
At the moment, I would favor Palmyra in such a war just because their military is clustered so close together, which just so happens to be next to Nahal. But otherwise, outside of Nahal, I wouldn't see Palmyra making too much headway. I think Palmyra is a little bit too focused on their war with the Ottomans, even though they haven't really gained ground anywhere. And Oman, meanwhile, their only route of expansion is north, so naturally any military that they have would move north. And you can't say, well, they could embark, because despite Oman having a high naval bias, they have still yet to research sailing, and they're not even researching it right now.
Do we know what they are researching right now?
Writing.
Yeah, it's good tech. It's still a good tech. Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of civs that aren't obviously the island civs still haven't gone for the embarkation sailing optics route yet. I think that's kind of symptomatic across the cylinder, and it is giving an advantage to island civs, I think. And that's not necessarily the case every run. I think it's quite unique to this run. Normally, you do see navies up fairly quickly, but. Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to favour Oman at the moment, for the plain reason that while Palmyra have been to war with the Seljuks and the Ottomans, they don't seem to have committed that much to either war. They kind of send their army 3/4 of the way and then kind of back off a little bit, and I'm not really sure why at the moment. So, yeah, I'm kind of wondering what Zenobia is up to, whether she does have a kind of master plan. She definitely needs to show her hand soon, because very, very soon there's not going to be enough space to kind of peacefully expand into anymore. She's kind of really testing the limits of how long she can leave it before actually settling, a couple more decent cities. But we'll see. Do we want to move?
Yeah, Africa, I think, is where we're going next.
We're on the line, and look at that. Look at that beautiful, beautiful civilization.
Can I guess, without looking at the screen, can I guess that it might be Libya?
It might be. Also, weird thing that happened. So, it's a bug. It's something that seems to have to be fixed. Libya, oddly enough, when it shows the honor tree, it somehow got a regular great general rather than it's a traditional great general, the Al-Qaid. So the reason why you see a citadel that's not in it was my first mod. I mean, you could shit on me, but you can shit on me, but at least my civilization didn't pick an ideology in the ancient era. So yeah. So anyways, I will say the citadel that you see is a bug. It's not a big bug because it didn't even take a tile away from Nubia. No. It just expanded Derna a little bit, and I can guarantee you that citadel will no longer exist given enough time and a war. Or, just because I'm one of the few people who did not rank Libya the lowest in the African continent, they are researching sailing, and Libya has a high naval bias. And that means it can start expanding into the Mediterranean. And if it doesn't do that, then it's absolutely the worst. But
yeah. Libya in tests tends to do well when it goes for the Med. In the past, they've in other tests, I should say, they've struggled to kind of break through that kind of Sahara deadlock and expand that way. They're usually either good at picking out Algeria early, which they're not doing well at all this time. They're actually looking to lose the city to Algeria, which is very depressing given Algeria's current situation. But but when they focus on the Med, maybe Manoa, maybe Venice, they usually actually are more successful in taking a few cities out. So I'm optimistic for what the future might hold for Libya in that regard. Although,
Yeah, I
it's been a
agree with
terrible game
that.
so far.
I think the other thing with Libya is that on that western front, Algeria have 3 days, I believe, in shot. Or is that 4? Yeah, it's 4 great generals, the great general and the shot that are all going towards the Libyan city. So yeah, that's not really
Not much
looking
good
very
at they
good
can't
for
find
Libya.
rally units though.
That is true. They have 1 warrior in shot on half health, which is going to get killed by the 2 archers next turn. But yeah.
Yeah, they did have a melee unit before. I think it got killed on turn 59. But I think Benghazi is safe for now due to that and that. I want to briefly talk about Nubia, if that's okay, while we're in Northern Africa. Because
There they are.
they're
Yeah.
We've talked about those guys and how they were sort of dogpiled on by all of Europe and the events. But Nubia are kind of the other civ that have faced a barrage of declarations of war, presumably as a result of them taking the Minoan city of Phaistos, or buggering up any chance to sail the Suez Canal. It's one of the two. So they've got declaration of wars from, if I can remember correctly, Benin and Ndongo. I think even maybe Zimbabwe.
Yep, Zimbabwe.
I think Songhai. I don't think Algeria, but maybe Algeria.
They didn't get a declaration of war from Algeria, but they did from Libya. The only
Libya as well.
the only African civilizations to not be at war with Nubia are Beta Israel, Algeria, and Madagascar. And I believe there is an Asian civ, or maybe it's Manoa, that have declared war on Nubia, though I may be wrong.
Well, Manoa are already at war with Nubia, of course. Nubia declared war. That's when they took Phaistos.
Yeah, I didn't remember if they made peace or not.
I don't think they've made peace yet, no. Anyway, what do we think about that? Because at the moment, Beta Israel haven't declared war, Palmyra, Oman haven't declared war.
Beta Israel are fuck all, let's be honest.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Beta Israel obviously haven't declared war. They do have a settler out. I think 2, actually. They're finally going to expand. Oh, so disappointing.
I don't think I think every single PR image for Beta Israel so far has been entirely unrelated to Beta Israel. The current one, I think, for this week is talking about, like, season 2 picks for Oceania.
Yeah, fuck it, why not? Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're going to finally do something next part, but we'll see.
They have a huge army, and they've got one of the biggest armies in the region.
Yeah, could they? Do we think Nubia are? We often see what these kind of hordes of declaration of war come in. That they don't stop for quite a while. So, who do we think could threaten Nubia? Do we think Beta Israel, if they declared war, could take a city or 2?
Easily,
Yes.
yeah, but the issues they have to get. I think the reason why they haven't declared war yet is because they have to get the army of the mountains and the hills. But if they get a sizable force there and are able to just overwhelm the southern cities, they could even take the capital, because I believe it's quite far south in Sudan. So,
yeah, that's true. I think there's Meroe, and then I think you hit the Nubian capital, traveling north to Napata. Meroe is roughly founded in its accurate location, very close.
is Meroe Luxor, or am I thinking somewhere else?
No, Meroe is the original Nubian capital, which is also the capital of the mod, usually, but we changed it to give a bit more distance. It was the first Nubian capital. It's near-ish Khartoum. It's kind of northeast, sorry, of Khartoum.
Yeah, I mean,
and then Napatar is a bit further north again.
What we can say is that the Beta Israeli forces are having trouble traveling through South Sudan, which is probably political in some way.
I mean, I don't know. I can't. I don't know enough about Central African geopolitics, I'm afraid. What about
It's not
Ndongo,
Central
guys?
African, it's Eastern. But Ndongo...
So do we think
Ndongo.
Ndongo could take some Nubian cities? Because they're the only ones who are committing so far.
Well, that's the thing, is that they're extending very far. Very, very far. And really, from what I can tell, because the screenshots are still messed up until next part, they only have 3 warriors, 2 archers, and a warrior on the way, where the rest of their military is still trying to make their way through the jungles and rivers of the Congo.
Uh-huh.
So I just really honestly, the Ndongo, like, they could certainly damage Nubia, and if Beta Israel declared war, it would make a very good segue for their declaration. But I don't know, unless all of a sudden the Nubians decide to give away Porto in a peace deal, I highly doubt the Congo will make it that far north, especially this early in the game.
Yeah, I think the other thing to look at with the Congo is that every single unit that Congo sends to
Ndongo, please.
that Ndongo sends from the Congo to Egypt is a unit that is not in the Congo for when Zimbabwe inevitably declare war on them.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know. What do you mean inevitably declares war? I don't know what you're talking about.
So Zimbabwe are a nice, friendly nation with no
We're just
hostile
sending
intention.
a nice kind of scouting mission to say hi to their
Yeah,
Ndongo
they believe in
allies
free
and
hugs. They
friends.
believe in free hugs and annexation. I mean, what?
Yeah, no, we have talked a bit about Ndongo's UA. I mean, this is the reason. I think we've talked a little bit about how they might get their army back, but it is probably how they got their army forward in the first place. Ndongo's UA allows them to essentially teleport their units across rivers, no matter what the distance. So that's how they got their army so far north so quickly. But it does mean, of course, that they can bring it back again within just 2 or 3 turns. So I don't think if Zimbabwe were to accidentally slip and declare war, I don't think that Ndongo would be too hurt. I think they will probably lose one city, the one that's kind of the most south east. That I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, and also
Masingano? I remember.
in the South Africa, southern Africa. Sorry. Just daily Madagascar watch. Madagascar are poking up at the mainland. They might settle our next turn if we're very lucky.
They went and settled Mauritius. They built a settler and they sent it to Mauritius. Please, just
But they're
settle
going for
mainland,
they're going for the
begging you.
tourism bug.
They're going. No, I have the idea that they're going. That they'll be the first ship to settle Sumatra. It'll be reversed through
God.
Vijaya.
Chagos.
Just you wait. It's going to happen. Yeah, Madagascar still continue to sit tight, look pretty. Really,
guys, when will the Sultan of Madagascar move to Zanzibar?
Well, Zimbabwe actually settled very close to Zanzibar, so probably not for the foreseeable future.
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Well, I think that indeed also wraps us up with the world. But I do have another question for you all before we kiss and say goodnight. The Shah have fallen. Many cities and capitals are burning. But if you had to pick a city on the cylinder, which to buy your house, to build your house, to live in, where would you buy it? Where do you think is the safest city? Which city do you think, on the whole cylinder, is the least likely to see combat in the next, let's say, few millennia?
Kanawehe, wait, wrong game.
Sorry, say again?
Kanawehe.
Kanawe.
No, the Hawaiian one from Mark 2.
Wrong game. Also, that city flipped a fair amount.
Not until not until like 2000 AD.
Well, Aaron has the first answer in the chat. He says that the safety city would be Madagascar's capital, Antananarivo. That's a good shout. I think the good thing about Antananarivo is it's on an island, but it's also inland. So in order to get there, you have to first successfully mount a naval invasion and then get land units across and then invade Antananarivo. So yeah,
I'd
that's a decent shout.
place an early bet on Karasyoka, so the Sami capital.
Sami capital,
Because
yeah.
it's pretty far away. Even if the Sami are at war, they've got a lot of borders, a lot of cities around it. You're probably quite fine for a couple of thousand years.
Lax, you're lagging pretty bad.
You're cutting out there.
I assume like just being electrocuted by the Selknam or something.
Yeah, the Shalknam are back.
Well, speaking of Selknam, I was gonna go with Cowways because it's a city on the bottom of South America. It's probably gonna be only captured by either whoever conquers South America or just nothing. Whoop.
Uruguay.
I mean, to be fair, it's even in a fucking other dimension at this point. So
I have a spicy pick for you. Something that you wouldn't expect.
What's your spicy pick?
It's a European city.
That is already, I would say not spicy. I would say is incorrect. But again, it's in Carachos.
Garnata. Garnata is
Granada.
an inland Moorish city. Yes, modern day Granada. If you're speaking,
It's been there on holiday.
Spanish.
Very nice place.
nice place, really cool architecture.
Lovely place. It's named after pomegranates, but all I saw there were orange trees. So many orange trees.
Well, yeah, because
Like
it's
they need to-
Andalusia's totally famous for oranges because of Seville.
Yeah, although the oranges just on the trees, if you pick them and eat them, they're so bitter. They're horrible.
Yeah, like it's like the whatchamacallit mikan from Japan, really bitter oranges.
Yeah. Anyway, I think when you're just getting completely off topic, I think what you say about Granada is true because again, it's a city that you couldn't take from the sea. So Algeria and Libya, they're not going to be threatening it anytime soon. But at the same time, it's far enough away from the rest of the action that it'll take a while for it to fall. What I would say is I think the Moors could collapse theoretically soon. So I would still be favouring. I think Antananarivo is still the best bet so far. I haven't heard a better shout than Antananarivo yet.
I think another one might be trying to read this off the stat sheet. Kerulik, the northernmost inland Yupik city. This is the one that's not the capital.
Oh, so the one that the hider won't take.
The one that's next to I think it's next to a mountain, two hills.
The
Yeah.
one that the hider won't take.
Lax, what do you
Yeah.
mean? The one that the Haida won't take. The Haida will take all cities.
The hider will.
The one that the hider will
Except
take.
Cowways.
I mean,
They don't need it to win. They could theoretically not take it and still win.
The other one is that
they just wanted to say-
Did the Qing settle that city in Siberia yet? Because that's
Not
also a
yet,
good
not
bet.
yet. Not yet. That is also
I just wanted to say real quick. The only reason why, Lex, I don't believe the Moors are going to collapse anytime soon. They have a settler. You can see two settlers. One is in Normandy, and not Normandy, Brittany, and one is just past the Andalusian, the Pyrenees mountain chain, and they're really starting to cluster up, and they're starting to fill in all those borders. I feel like the Moors, even though they didn't get to settle Ireland, the Isle of Man somehow managed to settle Ireland and England. But
I think in 30 parts they'll be speaking Songhai.
Ooh, spicy.
That's what I think. That's my guess.
I think if UPeak are given space to expand, Haida don't expand, we could see there were a couple of tests where UPeak did get not Mark II Inuit levels, but they did get small regional contestant levels. I really, really want to see a timeline where UPeak kill Haida, or even takes his matey and just get. I love UPeak so much. I just want them to do well.
UPeak taking the matey, I'd be happy with, but I love the hider too much. They're precious to me. I love that.
Well, we could just see UPeak. Imagine a world where then they don't take the hider, they take out the matey, they take out Canada, they settle Greenland, and then they go west and also have a border with the Camels.
I mean, we're in Cloud
Cuckoo
Cuckoo land now, though, aren't we?
Yeah, they're going to settle these two cities and never make another settler again.
Yeah, that sounds more like it. I will say, Scissor says the Quicero capital can never die, and Aaron also says another good idea, Sydney, which is an inland Australian city, but though it is quite near the Murray, but obviously the Murray may well. No one really reasonably thinks the Murray are going to win. However, what I'll say is, I did say not a city that won't fall. I said a city that won't burn. A city that won't even take damage, and I think both of those cities could very feasibly take damage even in the next.
It depends on like what we see with Tonga. If we see a second Hawaii and that third Tonga city, Niue or something, could end up being like the last city not fallen in the game, depending on like what order Tonga are taken out. If for some reason, like say New Zealand get killed or something like early on and by Australia, no people might not even know Tonga's there. Until like satellites, so
yeah. I mean, to be fair, I don't know. The scouts scout. The AI loves the scout, so I think people will be aware of Tonga by. Maybe a World Congress before too long.
I mean, they'll find it, but they're not seeking to conquer it. They're seeking to convert it to Mormonism.
Yeah, Mormon Tongans are everywhere. That they're just converting the world.
I really like willing them to found a religion now, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Well, I think that just about sums up everything of part 3, and obviously part 4 hits tomorrow, so we won't have long to find out how right or how wrong we were.
Yeah.
I'm uploading the things now.
Oh, fantastic! So
PRs.
we will wrap up now because the actual slides are going to be out very shortly. So go read them. Go read them now.
Oh, I have to get up in 5 hours.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's time is an illusion. And
Lex, can I come over to yours to record these episodes during term time?
Yeah, fine by me. Oh wait, it might not be fine by the people I live with, but we'll see.
It's trust me. I mean, it's just like you, but like with a slightly more Scottish voice and less.
Well, in any case, we should let you sleep then, really, Lordy. I think we're going to wrap things up today. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be here
thanks for coming, guys.
Every week until we die. Or
I was going to say I might not be here next 2 weeks because I'm in Edinburgh getting stuff ready for a wedding. So yeah,
Lordy, that's not good enough. We fully expect you to broadcast from Edinburgh.
Solid. You hear my like very Scottish dad shouting at me to shut the fuck up. It's 4 a.m. then.
He can take part. It's fine.
Oh my god! He does play Civ as well though.
You can talk about Oman's chances. I'm sure.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Oh my god. If we do a Father's Day episode like a Mother's Day, we have to all get like our parents in this call.
Oh,
absolutely
God.
not.
Might
Absolutely
be a bit tough for me.
I think we will wrap up proceedings then.
Yeah.
Thank you again for listening. I've been Lecturer Driscoll. This has been the Power Ranking Podcast Part 3. Goodbye.
Yeah, bye guys. See ya.
Good night.
Have a good one. I'm tired.